Underwater photography is hard. Let me explain. Recently bought this underwater camera bag, you could say. It's like a fancy Ziploc bag that's a universal size that's meant to fit a lot of different DSLRs and mirrorless cameras. Very affordable if you compare it to custom underwater houses that can easily cost around a couple of $1,000s. I think I paid around 60 euros more or less for this, and with my camera setup and budget that kind of makes more sense. But when that's said, I've seen people put fancy cameras in these bags. Danny Givers, he put his Sony camera into a bag like this, and after seeing that video I thought, okay, if he can do it, I can do it. Not with his Sony camera, I'm still shooting on my Canon SL2, but I just want to see if I could get an okay result with this bag and with my camera. And since it's more of an experiment, I'll just be using for the product shoot a pair of sunglasses and a nameless bottle of beer that I'm holding with my left hand under the water, and then I'll be one-handing with my right hand the camera. So before I started shooting, I took this bag and I put it into a bucket which I had filled with water, and this is to see if there are any bubbles that comes out of the bag, meaning that the bag is leaking. But after holding it under the water for a couple of minutes, it looked totally fine. So I put my camera into the bag and then I headed down to the swimming pool here in my community area. But the moment I started shooting, I realized that it is impossible to see what you're doing because you have this plastic film thing in front of the screen. And in addition, I didn't wear any goggles, like I couldn't see under the water what I was doing. And in addition to one-handing this bag or camera within this bag, it kind of feels like doing surgery with mittens. So the camera was super hard to control. I couldn't see what I was doing. I was basically just spraying and praying. Once in a while, I would take up the camera, try to set the focus distance, and then go under the water and just praying for a good result. 99% of what came out of the camera was crap. Ended up with 2 usable photos. The video clips were more or less useless, and it didn't help that the pool wasn't like super big, so you could easily see the edges that I didn't like. Also, time of day with like mid-sunlight, not ideal either. But I know I'm just blaming the conditions now, like it all depends on me. But the point is, it is hard. It is super hard shooting. So what I would do differently in a future shoot is, first off, the product or whatever I'm shooting, I'm not gonna hold it. I'm not gonna be the guy who's responsible for angling it. If that's the case, I'll do it prior, leave it, and then use both my hands on the camera so I could more easily maneuver it. And speaking of which, the second thing, goggles. Goggles, something that makes me see the screen, or parts of the screen at least, so there's a little bit of hope that I actually know what I'm doing. Because what I was doing, one-handing the product, one-handing the camera, is just a recipe for disaster. I am gonna go out and shoot tomorrow with this camera actually. Let's see if that is some content that will make it to this channel. And I will be applying the tips that I mentioned. Not being responsible for what I'm shooting, and using 2 hands on my camera and bringing goggles so I could hopefully see what I'm doing while I'm under the water. A lot of complaining. I need some more time with this camera bag, but for the price, 60 euros, okay, it's not leaking. At this point in time, the camera bag is not leaking. That is like the main priority. Second, what I'm actually seeing through this glass looks okay. Like I'm having trouble seeing where I'm shooting it and operating the camera, but the image itself, like what you see through this cap here, actually looks pretty okay. So as long as it doesn't start leaking, I think I'm gonna use this on several experimental shoots. Anywho, hope you guys liked this video. If you did, there is a like button down below. Subscribe to follow along, and I will see you in the next video. Ciao!